All right, let's look then at the next story. Okay, here we are back with Cristina Moise, continuing our journey through a bunch of emails that I received from parents dealing with issue related to parenting, questions about children of different ages, how to deal with that, and how to deal with real life situations that happen. And here is Cristina, here is the next email I received. It starts with, sorry for the long post, by the way, it's okay, please feel free. It says, I'm pregnant with my third baby, and I've been diagnosed with vasa previa, a condition that requires me to stay in the hospital for about 4 weeks. Today, at 32 weeks, I found out that I need to go to the hospital on Friday for the extended stay. When I spoke with the doctor, I told them I needed time to go home and pack my things. After picking up my 2 kids, who are 9 and 5, I shared the news with them. My 9-year-old was surprisingly happy and said, yeah, that means I'll get more tablet time. His reaction really upset me. I thought he would be more emotional about the fact that I'll be in the hospital for so long, but instead, it felt like he didn't care at all. It broke my heart. And I cried all the way home, thinking about my boys and how I'm going to manage this without much support beside my husband. My son's reaction left me feeling disappointed and sad. I know I'm not overly strict with screen time. He is allowed tablet use from Friday to Sunday, and on weekdays they can watch TV for 1 hour or 2 before or after school. I also try to get them to study for 20 minutes a day. I just don't understand why he reacted this way. It feels like he doesn't have any affection for me, but at the same time, I know he's just a kid and kids handle things differently. Maybe that was his way of coping with the news that I'll be away for a while. I've been crying all day, heartbroken that my 9-year-old didn't seem sad at all about me leaving. It's been really hard to process, feeling sad. Very interesting, huh?
Yeah, it's very touching, and especially women as they're pregnant, the emotional levels because of the hormones and all the changes that are going on in their bodies, and especially her situation, I'm sure she was quite emotional, and the reaction of her kids was not as she expected. However, in what I would like to, I mean, I've been in the same situation, but in a different context. It's not that I was pregnant, I was just leaving home. Like you remember, a year ago, 2 years ago, I was away from home with trainings for over a month, right? And I was like, oh, being away from home for a month, my kids, what would they do without me? How would they handle? I mean, they sure they would be with their dad, not alone, but would they be able to take care of themselves? And this is where moms actually need to shift the way they see motherhood and the way they see their children and start trusting their kids, because kids, they know exactly what to do. They know how to take care of them. And yes, maybe the kid, his first reaction was, yeah, I get to spend more time. And I kid you not, when I came back last year, when I came back from 1 month in Australia, both my kids said, oh, things went so good without you at home. And I was like, oh my God, what is this telling me? But actually, they were telling me, again, look for the meaning behind the meaning. They were trying to tell me that actually they managed just fine. They had a great time. They don't necessarily need me around to take care of things, but they have grown up. That was the message from them. They can cook. They made like for the whole week the meals, the menus. What do they have to buy? They divided responsibilities and chores around the house and everything. I was really proud of them. There was no drama all the time I was away, and I was really happy for them. And that really got me thinking, because when we are at home with our kids, oftentimes we stand in their way. We are trying to protect them and do everything for them, like cooking, cleaning, taking care of things, driving them places. but actually they need their space to explore by themselves. The time I was away, actually my daughter, she started cooking like really fancy, like nice cinnamon rolls and lava cakes and
What did your dad do? Whoa, look at
the,
this.
the dad was very happily, surprised, and he really enjoyed the time they had together. So actually what our kids are trying to tell us is that, Mom, I'm gonna be fine, even if I'm gonna spend, and I know one of the biggest concerns parents have with children today is that they're spending too much time on their screen, on their devices, and that they don't care, they don't want to spend time with us. But actually, the child, I mean, you cannot avoid them. I mean, it's part of our lives. Unless you choose to live in a home with no screens, with no phones, they will not have access to those. But they will see the mom and the dad, and let's remember. And I know, I mean, in traditional education, and I come from a traditional education kind of a family. Parents would tell the kids what to do, but actually, kids don't do what the parents tell them to do, but they model the parent. They model what the parents do. So if the parents, they're with their phone scrolling, telling the kid, put the phone down right now, while they're still scrolling and holding on to their phone, for the kids, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna model this, because the unconscious mind does what it sees, what it perceives, not what it's being told to do. So first of all, just remember the kids are modeling you, what you're doing, and just
They
as
do
you
what the
wanna,
parents do, and they don't do what the parents tell them to do.
yeah. And
And
another thing,
I think if I may interrupt for a second, hold your thoughts where you are. If I may interrupt, it can even create an incongruity inside a child's mind.
exactly.
And it leads to, I actually had a client like this. And it was an older, it's true, it was an older child. He was 12 or 13 at that time. So almost in the teenage years, right? And it was the diagnosis of that child was that mom's hypocritical. Because mom
Exactly.
tells me to do this, but she doesn't do what she's preaching to me. And then you lose authority and you lose something very important, which was a little bit of my mind read also in your story, which is trust. I
Exactly.
think when your kids said, look what I've done, and I didn't, you were away, but look what I've done in this time, was like, you can trust me, mom.
Exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so go ahead if you remember where you were.
Yeah, you made a very good point and a valid point. Not only you lose authority if you're scrolling and doing and telling your kid to do something different, but you're teaching them that you can get away with doing something and saying
Yep,
something else. And
yep.
you don't want to teach your kids this. You want to teach them honesty. You want to teach them to be authentic. This is where authenticity starts. And another example I have is with my son. There is this, game he wanted to play, and I was like, no, he's spending so much time with that game. And I was consulting with, my husband. What do we do? It's like having a crisis, and mothers usually overreact. Oh, this is going to turn into this. And this is something that most parents do. If the child does something when they're 7 or 10, they generalize that and they think this is what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. And my husband said, well, that's fine. Let's let him play it out, consume that. And we did not say no. We did not argue with him. He wanted to play, he played. And it took him a few months, not longer than that. And then he just quit playing that game. No more. It's done. It's
Thank
consumed.
God, that was done.
Because life for them, especially at this age, is an exploration. It's like an adventure. They want to know how this is. They want to experience this and this and this and this, right? And if you just keep telling them, oh, this is not right, they I mean, what you resist will persist. So these are just a couple of examples and ways to deal with the screen time. Now, going back to the mom, also what I would recommend and what has helped me a lot is help her process her own emotions, take time for herself, and work through her own emotions. It's like all the sadness. She says this is she even said it. I feel so much sadness because of
Yes.
that. Well, process that, and at least for me, timeline therapy helped me release all those major negative emotions.
Especially that she's going through a difficult pregnancy. And
Absolutely.
the emotions that the mother feels are transmitted obviously to the baby because it's one body, right? I mean, there are two bodies inside one. And timeline therapy definitely it would be a good solution. And not only that, but I think yes, it's a processing. So see, we can mind read here, and this is guess, okay? This is guess. So it could be feelings of rejection. Who knows where in the mother's past she felt rejected? And again, this is a guess, right? But as an example, and then now it happens again, and unconsciously she linked the events, and now this is the reaction. I'm sure that the kid didn't mean it in the wrong way. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely sure.
And actually, she says it. And I really love NLP because it teaches you how to really listen to people and what they're saying. And she's saying it. She says that it feels like he doesn't have any affection for me.
That's a mind read.
Exactly. It's a mind read, and it's like a limiting decision she has, something that she could be projecting onto her child. She might feel that, but
Yes,
there's no way she can actually know 100%, with 100% certainty what the child feels and thinks.
correct.
And just going back a little bit to the NLP model of communication, right? Everybody's and the model of the world, everybody's processing situations in life within their own model of the world. I can mind read all day long what people are feeling, what they are thinking about me or other situations,
Yeah.
but there's no way to know with 100% certainty
Mhm.
what is it exactly that they're thinking or feeling unless I ask them. That's why, as I suggested, if you think that your child doesn't have or feel that your child doesn't have any affection for you, ask them instead of mind reading, because this will clear the air for both you and the child. But unfortunately, we mind read our kids a lot because we look at them and consider that they're like helpless. They don't know what they're thinking. They're just little things that you move around any way you please. They have to obey you. They have to follow everything you tell them. But they have a mind of their own. I mean,
Especially at this age, definitely they think on their own.
exactly.
But see, there
Exactly.
is another thing. I am the parent. How could I, the adult, because that's how we are all taught, right? We're adults, we're supposed to know everything, right?
Yeah.
So how can I, as an adult, as a parent of this child, as a mother, go and say, well, when you said that made mama or mommy very sad. Did you mean it that way?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
but but many parents think that they couldn't possibly admit
Mhm.
to their children. And I think that's a mistake. It robs of the creation of this trust and real truthful understanding. As you said several times, we don't know what they think. We
Absolutely.
assume.
Mhm. Absolutely. And we teach them this emotional intelligence, right? And I see in a lot of, mother interactions, how they explain, they're getting very emotional, and the kids, they're very emotional, but they never talk about their emotions openly. Oh, this makes me sad. I feel this, I feel that. It's like emotions are like a taboo topic, and we don't talk about them. We feel them all the time, but we're not supposed to, because if we feel them, it's like there's something wrong with. No, there's nothing wrong with you. Emotion is a normal, natural thing everybody feels. There are negative emotions and there are positive emotions equally. and learn that the negative emotions, it's not bad. This is something that we were taught. I was taught as a child, where if you're crying, it means that you're weak. It does not mean that. It means that you feel something, and that emotion is coming to teach you something, to redirect your attention towards something. It's coming to you with a wisdom, with a purpose. So don't ignore it. Just listen to it. And I love how timeline therapy actually helps people in processing their emotions, in getting those learnings, that wisdom, and not keeping them stuck. Because this is what will create a lot of miscommunication, mistrust in relationships. So normalize talking about your emotions with your kids and be honest, even if it's, I know vulnerability, it's something that most people won't do, especially with their kids, because I gotta be tough. I gotta know all the answers. And I remember there was a time my son, he's very curious and he's asking lots of questions at some points. And I said, I don't know the answer to that. I say, how come you don't know? You're supposed to know everything. Well, I don't know. And it happens. Grown-ups don't have all the answers. And we can explore this together and find some answers.
Now
Or I'm
that's
feeling
important. The last thing you just said, it's extremely important. Involve the child together with you.
exactly.
It creates a tremendous bond and
Mhm.
that's the issue of the trust.
Yeah,
Trust that I can tell the truth and I'm not punished.
exactly. And
That's great.
it's a great skill to teach them. So again, emotions, talk about their emotions, your emotions, say sorry when you really mean it, and they will say sorry. And this is something that I experience with my son as well, as like, oh, I'm sometimes I yell or I just because there is a lot of things on my mind, and then I say, oh, please, I'm sorry, it was not about you. I was just, and I explained to him what exactly was going on, what I was upset or overwhelmed with. It happens, right? I'm not a
It's life.
saint. Even if you work with all these, life happens. And I said, I processed that and I realized, hey, I made a mistake. I was not upset with you. I was upset because I had to do this thing and this thing happened and the other thing. And I explained to him calmly and he gets it. And when he raises his voice or he's upset, he then comes back, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it was not about you. It was about me. So it's a great way for him also and for the kids to acknowledge and become aware that actually what we feel and take that responsibility for what we feel because it's not about other people. They're just part of the circumstances. It's something that we need to process. It's something happening internally inside of us, and we need to pay attention to that.
See, you can't really, I mean, you can lie through words and pretend through words, but this is over generations. Every parent needs to understand this. Just remember when you were a child, if your parents pretended that everything's okay, but something wasn't, either they had problems at work or there was maybe problems between them. They could play the game of, oh, everything, ha, 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 happy. The children always feel it because they're very sensitive emotionally. And that's okay. We don't want to transform children into not being, capable of feeling anything. It's just part of being human. As you just mentioned before, having emotions is normal. It's just normal. We're not machines, right? So, but children always sense. They might not know correctly, but they know something's wrong always. So it's much better. I mean, my opinion, and I see you agree in this one, and through what you said, also I think it's the best solution. Establish that truthfulness, that open communication where you really understand what is it that they are really saying.
Yeah. And kids can smell your BS a long
Oh
way. So don't
yeah.
bother. It's, don't bother
Uh,
going. You cannot like they have this fine sense of knowing exactly what you're going through, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. So if you're trying to make it look as if something else, it won't work for them. And you're giving them the wrong message.
as we grow up, if we shut off and we do it by repetition again and again and again, if we shut off our ability to feel emotions because we're told emotions are bad, emotion make you weak, emotions is stupid, and so on. All this kind of garbage that goes on, right? I'm not saying that being overly emotional 24/7 it's the solution. No, that's not what I'm saying, right? But being in control of emotions and knowing how to express healthily your emotions, it's important, because if you shut them off and you try to dispel them and put them, I don't want to pay attention to that, I'll pretend, I'll whatever, eventually one of the possibilities is that we grow up incapable of feeling them.
Yeah.
And then we become absolutely dry, mechanical, biological robots.
Yes, and not only that, ignoring them or putting them away does not solve the problem.
No.
They are still with you, and many
Yes.
people don't realize that. And
Yes.
they may be not looking into them, not acknowledging them, might actually be the source of some of your biggest problems in your life.
Yes.
So, because you can work on this autopilot for a while, it will work being this, robot kind of having this kind of robot living. But then at some point in time, if you don't look into them, they will just bite you back. They will
Here,
come back and
here was something very interesting. It was about maybe 3 months ago, when I heard on a podcast this 34, 35-year-old, so young man, adult, right, doing his PhD at MIT, which is a prestigious institution, in some sort of a physics-related field. I don't remember exactly what was like. And he interviews this other man, and is sincerely interested in how do people feel anything. Because he said, when somebody says to me, for instance, you see something beautiful, you go somewhere in nature and it's an incredibly beautiful place, and you enjoy and you have fun and you feel happy, or you feel joy in a certain situation with your friends or family, or and so on and so forth. And he goes, I don't know how to feel. He says, when I'm thinking of feeling, all that comes in my mind is numbers. So this guy was totally, internal dialogue, concepts, dry thinking, literally like a machine, but completely dissociated from his ability to feel anything. And even more, actually, he was dissociated from his ability to recognize the sensory input. In other words, if somebody says, oh, that's beautiful, he would say, no, that's black with margins like this, and it has these patterns of purple and greenish, whatever. He will describe it still mathematically. He wouldn't have any relationship between sensory input and his dry AD, auditory digital, which is self-talk, only concepts, for those of you who don't know. And he was just unbelievable. He was sincerely interested, but how do you do this? What goes on in your mind? Because he wanted sincerely to replicate it, which to me was like, oh, wow. He felt that something's missing, but he couldn't even say the word. He was using the word feel, but he wasn't feeling anything.
Yeah.
He didn't even know what does it mean to feel anything, which is like, oh wow, that's a machine over there, right there, right? It wasn't.
That's interesting, because I also see sometimes people when coaching them one-on-one, parents, and processing their emotions with timeline therapy. Oftentimes they're trying to feel their emotions with their head, like you just said. But actually,
Yep.
emotions, you feel them in
In
your
your body.
body. It's
In your
not in
body.
your head. If you're in your head, you're just conceptualizing about life and everything around you. But you need to tap into your body, because your body stores a lot of emotions and a lot of good information for you. And I know that we live in an age where body is just like an object that we need to move around. We need to take it to the gym to make it look a certain way, feed it certain things because it need to correspond to some standards. But actually, our bodies are more than that. There's so much wisdom and there's so much emotion, and being connected with your body is being more aligned in your life.
Well, your
So
body is intelligent.
absolutely.
And then people say, oh, but how do you know this? But it's very simple. You don't do any of the functions that keep you alive consciously. Anything. You don't beat your heart, you don't digest your food, you don't deliver, the bile and all the other substances that come from the liver and pancreas, and you don't do anything about your hormones, and you virtually don't do any of this. Your body has its own intelligence. Why not respect it? And your body, as you say, has the ability to feel emotions.
Yeah.
All right, I hope this helps.